Hey guys, today we're continuing the lesson we started yesterday talking about like square roots and what they're called radicals. And all we're really doing is we're adding and subtracting those radicals together today. The big rule for adding and subtracting radicals, just like adding and subtracting fractions, adding and subtracting variables, we have to be counting the same thing to be able to add them together. Take a look at number 8 here, for instance. The square root of 5, this is 4 square roots of 5 and 2 square roots of 5. So we are counting the same thing. And if we're counting the same thing, we can add them together. So if I have 4 square roots of 5 and 2 square roots of 5, add them together and we get 6 square roots of 5. Okay? So we do not add the square roots together. What I mean is this isn't the square root of 10. We're still counting the same thing. We're still counting square roots of 5, okay? It's just they have to be the same to be able to combine. For instance, they must match. For instance, this 4 square roots of 3 and 2 square roots of 5, not the same. Here I'm counting square roots of 3. Here I'm counting square roots of 5. So these cannot combine. Okay? All right, so and if we look at number 9, we start off and we look at this and we say, oh, number 9, those two can't combine, we're done. However, a big part of today is going to be simplifying one or both and then seeing if once we simplify, then maybe they can combine. Then maybe they're like terms, okay? So the square root of 8, maybe that can simplify. Let's take it over here and let's divide it out. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we cake it, right? So we're going to need to bring a 2 to the outside. Well, I already have a 3 on the outside, so if I also have a 2 on the outside, it's going to be 3 times 2 is 6, so it's going to be 6 square roots of 2. So I'll have 6 square roots of 2 and 5 square roots of 2. So once again, they're the same, and so then I can add them together, okay? So 6 square roots of 2 and 5 square roots of 2 make 11 square roots of 2. Okay, let's take a look here at number 10. We have a lot going on. Negative 2 square roots of 3, 2 square roots of 12, 2 square roots of 48. Now, at first glance, it definitely looks like none of these can combine. But I think 48 is definitely big enough for us to be able to simplify. And I think 12 is going to simplify as well. So let's try to simplify these a little bit. Let's take 48 and let's cake 48. So 48 divided by 2 is 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. Woo! There's a lot of 2's there. So for this one, we're going to pull out a 2. We're going to pull out another 2. And we're going to have a 3 that stays on the inside. So we already have a 2 on the outside. But we're going to put another 2 on the outside and another 2 on the outside for this and this. But we're going to keep this 3 on the inside, okay? So there's this first one. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times the square root of 3. Okay, this one can't simplify at all, so I'm just going to write that down here. Negative 2 square roots of 3. But let's see if I can simplify 12. 12, I'm going to do it over here. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So yeah, we can pull out a 2 there. So for this one, we already have a 2 on the outside, right? And we're going to have another 2 on the outside. And we're going to have a square root of 3. Okay, let's make sure these stay separated. So here's my first one, here's my second one, here's my third one. So let's clear this up a little bit. Let's multiply all the stuff that I pulled out. So I pulled out a 2, so we're going to have 4 square roots of 3 in the middle, plus 2 times 2 times 2 is 8 square roots of 3, and I still have this negative 2 square roots of 3 at the front, okay? It's important. Break it off by pieces. Do like this term first, see if that can simplify. Do the next term next, see if that can simplify. Do the next term last, see if that can simplify. Then work those out, and then we add them together, okay? So then once we're there, look, they all have square roots of 3. So we can add these together. We can go negative 2 plus 4 plus 8. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. So I'm going to have 10 square roots of 3 as my final answer. Okay? That's all we're doing. Simplifying, combining like terms. Simplify, combine like terms. All right. Say, look here at number 11. Number 11. This one, we start each term individually. So let's look at this term first. Can that term reduce? No. 6 is just 3 times 2. There's no pairs in there. All right, what about 24? Can 24 reduce? Yeah, I'm pretty sure 24 can reduce. So let's take 24 off to the side and let's reduce it. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we have a pair of 2's that's going to go to the outside. And on the inside, we're going to have a 3 and a 2. All right, so that simplifies to be negative 2 square roots of 6. So we have negative 3 square roots of 6 minus 2 square roots of 6. And then we take a look at this last one. Can this last one reduce? The answer to that is kind of. 2 can't reduce, but we do have a negative on the inside of my square root. And that negative on the inside of the square root can change to be an I. Remember, the square root of a negative is an imaginary number. It's I. So I can rewrite this as negative 3I square roots of 2. Then, we're going to combine like terms. They're not always going to be the same. Look at this one. This one is not a like term to these two. These two are the same because we both have square roots of 6. So if I have a dead of 3 square roots of 6 and a dead of 2 square roots of 6, combine those together and we have negative 5 square roots of 6 minus 3I square roots of 2. These two can no longer combine, so that's just my answer. Okay? All right. Let's move on and let's take a look at some bigger multiplication. So it's not all about addition and subtraction. Sometimes we have to combine like terms after we multiply. A good example of this is right here, whenever we FOIL. Whenever you FOIL stuff out, sometimes it can get tricky. So let's see here. We're going to start off with first. So remember, FOIL, first, outer, inner, last. So first, 2 times 2 is 4. Outer, 2 times positive 5 square roots of 3. Well, remember, we multiply outside numbers to outside numbers, inside numbers to inside numbers. So this only is an outside number, so it's just 2 times 5, which is 10. So we're going to have 10 square roots of 3. Then we're going to go inner, which is negative 5 square roots of 3 times 2. So that's going to be negative 10 square roots of 3. And then last, these two multiplied together, we're going to get a negative 5 times a positive 5 is negative 25. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is going to be a square root of 9. Okay, then we simplify, combine like terms. This square root of 9 can simplify. It is a perfect square, so that square root of 9 is going to be just 3. So I can rewrite this as negative 25 times 3. And check it out here, look. 10 square roots of 3 and negative 10 square roots of 3. Well, 10 minus 10, 0. 10 square roots of 3 minus 10 square roots of 3, 0. So those just kind of cancel out. So all I'm left with really is this 4. So I have 4 minus 25 times 3. Well, 25 times 3 is 75. So 4 minus 75 is going to be a negative 71. Okay? So that's really just how it works out. All right? We cancel it out. And we actually get a whole number. This whole big mess just gives us a whole number. Pretty cool. Okay, now let's try this one. Remember, whenever you see a squared, right, we're squaring everything that's there. So we're taking this 3 minus square roots of 2, and we're multiplying it by itself. Okay, so we're going to go 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times negative square roots of 2 is negative 3 square roots of 2. Negative 2 times 3 is going to be negative 3 square roots of 2. And then lastly, negative square root of 2 times the negative square root of 2 is going to be a positive square root of 4. Okay, now let's combine like terms. Let's simplify. First simplification. This square root of 4 can turn into a 2. Okay? Then we combine like terms. 9 and 2 make 11. Then negative 3 square roots of 2 and negative 3 square roots of 2 make negative 6 square roots of 2. Okay? So there's my answer. 11 minus 6 square roots of 2. Okay, let's try these last two real quick. This one we have a distribution and a simplification on the end that maybe be able to combine. All right, so let's multiply it out. So let's go first. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 square roots of 3 is 2 square roots of 3. Negative 2 square roots of 3 times 1 is negative 2 square roots of 3. And then negative 2 square roots of 3 times this is negative 4 square roots of, not 3, it's going to be square root of 9. Okay, so now let's simplify. Negative 4 square roots of 9, that square root of 9 is 3, right? 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. So 4 square roots of 9 changes to be negative 12. Plus the square root of negative 16. Well, I have the square root of a negative, so we're going to have an I. And then the square root of 16 is, of course, 4. So this is going to be I times 4, or we could rewrite it in a better way. We could rewrite it as 4I. Okay? Then these two are going to combine. 2 square roots of 3, negative 2 square roots of 3. Those just kind of cancel, right? Add together, they make 0. And so we're going to have 1 minus 12 plus 4i. 1 minus 12 is going to give me negative 11. Negative 11 plus 4i is going to be my answer. So I actually get a complex number as my answer there. No big deal. All right. Well, now let's try number 15. So number 15, once again, we're just going to multiply this out, okay? So we're going to go 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5, square roots of 5 is 5 square roots of 5. Negative 3 square roots of 5 times 2 is negative 6 square roots of 5. And negative 3 square roots of 5 times 5 square roots of 5 is going to be negative 15 square root of 25. Okay, of course, the square root of 25 is just going to be 5, and so we're going to have negative 15 times 5 here. We're going to get negative 15 times 5 is, of course, negative 75. Okay, then on our other sides, we can combine these two, and that's going to make negative 1 square root of 5. And then I still have that 2 out in front. Combine like terms here, 2 and negative 75 combine to be negative 73. So we're going to have negative 73 minus square root of 5. Okay? So I know this might seem overwhelming, but I promise, just take it step by step. Just like isolate this one, simplify it, see if it can combine. Isolate this one, simplify it, see if it can combine. Multiply them out, whatever you need to do. But I'm hoping this makes sense. As always, be sure to email me or text me or whatever if you have any questions at all, and we'll set up a Google Meet, and I'll be able to help you, okay? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.